Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Colton, and in today's video, I want to talk about why I think consistency is probably the most important element of your creative growth. So why do I say consistency is the most important part of your creative growth? At the very least, one of the most important parts of your creative growth. And I think the reason why is it's something that I've personally experienced in a number of capacities, where doing something for a long stretch of time makes you far better at that thing and far more enriched by whatever that is than doing something much more intensely for a very, very short period of time. You know, I think a lot of times we look at trying to be inspired, trying to be motivated, trying to put as much effort as we can into any given project that we're working on. And especially in this day and age, in this generation, you know, we've heard so much. You've got to put in 110% in everything you do. You got to grind. You know, you hear that from your coworkers, your bosses, your family, friends. The first person I think I probably heard that from was my middle school PE coach. You know, if you're doing laps, you got to put in 110%. And it's like, okay, whatever. Doesn't exactly make sense, but the idea of putting in that effort is what's being portrayed. But then you also kind of wonder why this generation and why people in general today have such an issue with getting burned out. It's because our society has pushed us to always do things at 110% and to glorify that. But I find that so many people end up burning out or prematurely ending whatever project they're working on because they can't be consistent due to how much effort they're pouring into something, or because they're too distracted with other things in their life, or they're not feeling inspired, or maybe the outcomes that they've experienced haven't been what they were hoping for, and so they're struggling with motivation. But a lot of those issues are resolved if you can be consistent in whatever you're doing. And that's really where you get the big growth. When you're doing something for a year, for 2 years, for 7 years, it takes time, but that consistency is king. And I'll give the example of YouTube because it's relevant to me, and I think it makes a lot of sense as a good explanation tool for consistency. You know, when I started this channel, I said to myself, the only way I'll be able to do this channel in the long run and be consistent is if I make sure that when I'm creating videos, I'm doing so in a way that is sustainable. That means not putting 110% effort into every single video I do. That means knowing that sometimes I'm going to be inspired and sometimes I'm not going to be inspired. Sometimes I'll be motivated and sometimes I won't be motivated. And so it's critical for me to be aware of that. Now, that's not to say that I don't feel inspired or motivated frequently. That's not to say that I never put 110% effort into a video. There are many, many videos on my channel where I'm putting in as much effort as I possibly can. I'm going 110%. But there are also videos where I'm rocking 70% effort. And some of that is just due to the nature of the video and what it dictates as far as the needs of creating that video. But also sometimes it's what else is going on in life. What's going on at work? What's going on with family, friends, your hobbies, your artwork? You know, YouTube isn't the only thing that I have going on. So in order to maintain consistency, and we're about 2 years into this YouTube channel now, it's like we have to constantly assess for each video, how much effort do I have available for this video? How much motivation do I have for this video? And then work based off of that. But that is king compared to going in, pushing yourself way too hard, and then burning out after 3 months, after 6 months. Because I'll tell you, I've learned so much in doing this channel over the years that I would not have learned had I given up after 3 months or after 6 months. Even if the quality of the videos in those first 3 to 6 months were way better than they actually were in reality, I still have learned more by just doing it for twice as long plus. And I think that's really the big thing that you have to ask yourself if you're looking at having substantial growth. No, you don't want to phone it in at 30% effort. No, you don't want to only do work when you feel motivated. But you want to realistically assess what you can put in. 30% might not be very much effort. Maybe what's more reasonable is you've got 65% effort that you can put in, 80% on this one. Maybe the next one you've got 110. Do that. Push yourself to the maximum that you can do and still maintain consistency. So if the maximum you can do and still be consistent is 80%, do 80%. You will grow from that. And maybe you'll still grow even if you're doing 110%, but the growth is sort of like, I don't know, I'm not an economist, but it's like interest, right? When you're investing your money, if you invest for a really short period of time in an investment that is a long-term investment, you'll make money, but it won't be much. It's like it's got to compound on itself for years and years and years, and then it becomes this huge sum of money. This is not financial advice. But I think that's really what it is what can you manage that will make you consistent? For me on YouTube, it's probably an average of like 70% effort on every video that I do. And that's what makes it sustainable, where I've learned. And if you look at the videos in the beginning of this channel versus the videos now, you can see a noticeable quality improvement over that period of time. And not even just a quality improvement, but like more of a consistency in the quality across the videos. When I first started the channel, the quality wasn't that great and the consistency was all over the place. The lighting would be like okay in one video and then really bad in another video. The colors would look totally different from one to another video. The exposure settings and stuff would be all over the place. Sometimes the autofocus wasn't working quite right. But these are a lot of things that I then learned from, and I grew and I started understanding more about what I needed to do to get the videos right. And then before long, the videos started looking a lot better, sounding better, and being more consistent from one video to the next. And that's stuff that I learned from the long run. There's countless other things that I've learned in doing this channel, that I've grown as a creator of this channel because I've stuck with it and done it consistently over a pretty long period of time now. And that only compounds as you go into year 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it may be. And I think the same thing is for photography or painting or writing, all these things that I mentioned before. It's not about putting in the maximum effort you can put in right away, right now. Start small. If you're a writer, write one line. The next day, write another line. Eventually, maybe you're doing paragraphs. Maybe you're doing short stories. And then before long, maybe you're writing entire books. But it takes time to get there. If you just go in and write a book right out the gate, that's going to maybe not be the best quality, but it might also completely burn you out. And you will have learned from doing that. But then you won't have learned as much as if you had built up to that and then gone beyond that, I guess is the point that I'm making. So I hope that is helpful to you. I hope that you can find a way to be consistent and maybe reframe some of your plans in a way to say, how can I be consistent in what I'm about to do? And hopefully that makes you more successful and helps you grow over a longer period of time. So that is the video for today. I would love to know your thoughts on consistency and also how you are able to be consistent. Maybe what are some of the steps you take to maximize consistency so that other people viewing the comments can maybe get a few tips from each other. But with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, do give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and that's going to keep you in the know for when the next video drops. But for now, I'm Colton. I'll see you in the next one.